Eleanor Roosevelt told us to learn from the mistakes of others because you can't live long enough to make them all yourself. This advice is particularly true in aviation. The International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, has mandated that all members, including Australia, must adopt safety management systems that incorporate processes for organisations to share knowledge about hazards. CASA tells us to identify hazards across our operations that could harm people, equipment, property, or the environment. The level of risk of the hazard should trigger appropriate types of behaviour. The strongest remedy is to engineer the problem out so it can never happen again. But in aviation particularly, this is often not possible because success depends on humans making good choices with all of the information available at the right time. So we have to depend on less effective techniques like training and keeping people aware of risks. It is not sufficient to be told once because people forget. We have to have processes that keep reminding people to refresh memories and promote good practice. Risk registers are the best way to document and share information about hazards. The Melbourne Aviation Group uses RCART software. Enter www.rcatogo.com. Click on Login. If you've forgotten your password, then click on the Forgot Your Password button. An email will be sent to that address. Check your spam folder as automatically generated emails can be caught there. The standard risk register appears after you log in. Hazards and past incidents appear as rows at the bottom of the screen. The Moorabbin Safety Management Forum uses the same software, which allows hazards on their register to be shown on MAGriskREGISTER. This one, copied from the forum's register, makes pilots aware that there have been cases of aircraft lining up at the opposite ends of the same runway prior to the tower opening. This one reports on a proper strike that caused more than $20,000 damage to MAG's aircraft. Click on the Edit button to read more about this incident. See photos and download a report. This damage was due to uneven tarmac that is very difficult to see from the pilot's seat. The incident occurred several years ago and the tarmac still has the same hazard. This incident will happen again with similar costs if pilots are not reminded of the hazard. This issue highlights the importance of the starter engaged annunciator light. The light does not exist on many similar aircraft, so it is perhaps not surprising that a pilot didn't take appropriate action. Luckily, there was no serious damage in this case, but operations with the starter engaged for extended periods could have expensive consequences. This is an opportunity to make all pilots aware of this hazard. The biggest barrier to the success of this type of register is our natural embarrassment about our mistakes. Hindsight bias makes us all think that an event would have been easily predictable. So it is too easy to think less of the person who made the mistake. But all of us make mistakes and might well have made the same mistake in the same circumstances. Issues on the register generally do not identify the pilot, and reports on circumstances are generally described in the third person. You are encouraged to share your observations about hazards that you become aware of by creating a new form and filling in the fields. Simply registering the issue will go a long way to making other pilots aware of the risk. If you want to document the hazard further, then you can upload photos and files. Brainstorm for underlying causes using the pair and shell models that are recommended by the International Civil Aviation Organization and CASA. Or go further and develop trees to record events and causes to understand systemic issues. In the meantime, let's learn from the mistakes of others before we make them ourselves.